Welcome back to Live Darts. We're here at the NDA and Modus event in Skegness, and we've got two times world champion with us, Dennis Priestley. Dennis, first of all, how are you keeping? Because not many darts fans see you out and about these days.
I'm keeping well. Yeah, no problems. Probably early part of the year, had bronchitis, acute bronchitis. Took 3 or 4 weeks to get shut of, and not normally takes that long with me. But yeah, it set me back a bit. But I'm okay now.
Are you enjoying the exhibition circuit? Still trying competitive darts?
It's nice to get about and meeting people.
How are the darts going?
Oh, not very good, but I keep persisting. It's just inconsistency now.
Again, we know you follow the darts because you went to the Premier League. Do you still watch it all the time as well on TV?
I do watch a little bit. I'm not fully tuned in 24 hours, 7 days a week. But I watch a bit and try and keep up best I can.
Back in 1992, when the split happened, obviously you found a member. Could you ever imagine from where it was there to where it is now? Did you ever think that could happen?
Well, I knew it could only get better, but I didn't expect it getting as good as what it's turned out. The money's tremendous. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning and practice, doesn't it? I just wish I was 40 years younger.
As I say, that was part of my next question. Would you like to play on these big 10,000-seater arenas? And
well, I have done. I played in Premier League second season. Then I got ill with prostate cancer. Yeah, I played in front of them sort of crowds. Yeah.
Again, rivalries talked about in the sport. Obviously, you had a great rivalry with Phil back in the day, and then we sort of lost the characters and things like that. We seem to be developing now. What's your take on the modern game and the way it is?
It seems fine. I mean, obviously, playing in the big arenas, and there's don't forget when we first started, we was used to having quite decent order. We was the first ones what had to try and get used to all the noise, whereas the new lads coming in, they know what to expect. They know no different. It was difficult first off to get used to the noise, but we did, and that's the price we had to pay for the money what's coming to the game.
Did you prefer the best of order, or did you prefer the?
I like the best of order.
Is that just because you can concentrate better?
Yeah. My game were all about concentration. Where I lost it was probably mentally anyway. After so long, 10 years nearly at top, and the mental side of it.
When you look back through your career, obviously Lakeside title and the very first PDC World title, are they the two standout moments in your career, or is there something else that you look back on fondly as well?
Well, I always look back on the Windmill World Masters when I won that, because that was the best darts I ever played in a semi and a final. They were both 100 plus averages. One was a 35 point something per dart, and the other one was a 34 point something a dart. And that was consistency at its very best. They talk about 100 averages now, blasé, being blasé about it, but then there were few and far between.
Is that the way the board and the technology has moved on? Because obviously you had to play with huge wires and staples in.
Well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, obviously modern technology, and it looks better anyway without big staples and things. I mean, they're a nice board.
MVG obviously dominating, or has done recently. Where do you think he stands in the whole scheme of things? Obviously his rivalry with Phil is always compared. Where do you see the two of them?
Well, there's a hell of a long way to go to do what Phil Taylor's done. I mean, obviously his averages are proving slightly better, and some people will always think that that's the benchmark, the averages. But to do what Phil Taylor's done of a 20-year plus, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked if Michael van Gerwen achieved it.
I know a lot of people hold you responsible for awakening Phil Taylor, beating him in that first final. Phil says it himself that he never wanted to experience that again. So the darting world's got to thank you for something, and then not in another way.
Yeah, I've said that many times, that I awoke the sleeping giant.
Again, 2014, when you retired, did you know it was time? Because obviously Raymond's retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah, I knew. To be fair, if there'd have been money in game, I probably would have called it a day. Probably after the last final I played in 2000, but there wasn't. I mean, I was 50 at that time. There wasn't much else I could do. I mean, you know, obviously the exhibition circuit, but I just kept plugging on for as long as I could, to be quite honest.
And the way the tour is now, it's relentless for these young players. Would you have done the tour in full in your heyday, or would you have picked and choose a bit like some of them do now?
Well, it's a lot more condensed than it was even 4 years ago when I packed in, and I'd have picked and choose. But if I'd have been in my 20s, I wouldn't have picked and choose. I mean, it's what we all dreamt of, playing week in, week out, you know. We was playing on TV in December and probably not on TV again until 4 or 5 months after. And that's the reason the averages and the players are better, is because they're competitive more or less every weekend.
Match play is also on the horizon. I know that you like the Winter Gardens as a venue, fond memories there.
Yeah.
What makes the Winter Gardens special compared to the
Well,
others?
obviously it's the building and the atmosphere and the closeness, and I mean it's a lot better than arenas. I've never liked Ali Pali, to be honest, but there you go. You've got to play on what stage they put you on.
Dennis, thank you very much for taking time out to speak to us here at Live Darts. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers.